Welcome back to Sami J Reads. I'm Sami J, and this is a place in which I read a book, I review it, and hopefully I save you from reading a terrible book, or I get you to read a wonderful book. This week we're going to go ahead and review one of my other favorite fantasy novels. I actually have a lot of favorite fantasy novels, but don't let anyone else know. This week I'm going to review Peter V. Brett's The Warded Man. The Warded Man follows three individual characters as they fight and defend themselves against these demonic creatures known as corelings. Of the three characters, the first one we meet is Arlen when he is a young boy, and he actually becomes my favorite character in the entire series. Arlen is an enjoyable character, mainly due to the fact that we don't just see him at a low point or just a high point. We see him at both those points. He is a very bound and determined individual. He wants to prove himself. He doesn't like living in fear, and his main goal is to bring himself, along with everyone else, out of the concept of fear. Yeah, okay, we're fighting this dark demon, but we don't have to stay in our homes and fear for ourselves. We should fight back. The second character of the trio that we end up meeting is a young female by the name of Leesha, soon to be married to a jerk of a guy. Unlike being told what she should do by her mother and her friends, Leesha stands her ground. She is very set in her own views, her morals, her opinions. She won't let anyone alter those except for herself. Because of these personality attributes, I had respect for her. I did not feel as though she was another bimbo among the female characters. It leads her on to the path of what she's going to be, the great, phenomenal female heroine that I love. She ends up meeting this mean old lady in town named Bruna. People put up with Bruna is because she's the herb gatherer, she's the doctor, she's the one that everyone goes to when they need help. The third character we end up meeting is Rojer. I think it's Roger. It might be Rojer, but I like the name Roger. We meet Roger when he is a young child. He's about the age of 3. He ends up finding that he wants to be an entertainer, basically a jester. He juggles, he sings, he dances, he plays violin. By adding Roger into the mix of a warding master along with an herb gatherer, it's an interesting mix with how Brett puts it together. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flip side with having Roger there in the terms of fighting, because we're not fighting with weapons or potions. It's a completely different and very unique style of fighting. This novel, it is basically a character buildup of all three characters, Arlen, Leesha, and Rojer. This is the buildup that I would have liked to have more of in The Drowning City, so then I cared about the characters if they were getting into a fight or if they were going to die. The story overall, I really enjoyed. It was the typical fantasy storyline. Human versus dark force. Being versus dark force. Typical. However, I enjoyed how Brett went about it. I enjoyed the elements he added into it that created a believable world along with believable characters. Of the elements that Brett added in, it really made the story unique. We had warding, which I've usually been on the fence with, depending on how well they're used. He used them great in this novel. I enjoyed how they're not just a defensive strategy, but they're also an offensive strategy. The natural elements that Brett put in, I really enjoyed. They were subtle, but not too subtle. They weren't overdone. It was the perfect balance. Finally, I really liked how Brett put together the communities and the lifestyles of the people in this world. If you have corelings that come out at night, and your only form to protect yourself is using defensive wards, then you're not going to go out at night and try and fight these things. Unless you're Arlen. You're going to cower in your home during the nighttime. And then during the day, you're going to continue to defend yourself as you go back and repaint your wards and make sure that you're going to live another day. Additionally, I enjoyed this novel because it is the first book in the Demon Cycle series, and most times that's the point of the first book, is to grab your attention and get you to continue to read the rest of the series. Yet having this novel that is very set on developing the characters, it makes for a very unique and interesting read. Brett ends up still capturing your attention with the story. However, the main goal at the end is not to defeat a higher oppressing individual or a higher entity that you must defeat. The enemy is fear, the basic concept of fear. The story is basically set up to defeat this idea of fear, this concept of fear, and I enjoyed it. Makes for a fun read. Reading the rest of the series, you don't have a cookie cutter book. You don't have a book where you kill off a king, and then the next book you kill off an emperor, and then the next book you kill off a god. You read a book based on defeating a concept that everyone has, and the next one is nothing related to it, but they work and mesh well together, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm sure anyone else who has read it has enjoyed this book. So if you have not read it, read it. It is a very quick and easy read. you could read it during Halloween time because it is a perfect setting during Halloween time with it being dark and creepy and kids are getting all ready for Halloween. You could dress up as a coreling or as Arlen. Perfect costume ideas. Put some corelings in your yard and be totally awesome like that. So that's it on Sami J Reads. If you have read The Warded Man, go ahead and comment down below with your opinions, your reviews, what you liked, what you didn't like, or leave me a video response and I'll get back to you. If you have a book that you want me to check out and read, review, and do the whole shebang, go ahead, comment down below, send me a message, contact me somehow, and I'll check it out. I am always up for new books. If you want to see me every week, go ahead and hit the subscribe up above, and I will see you guys every Thursday in your inbox. Yep, that's right. I'll be in your inbox. Yeah. So I'm Sami J, and I will see you guys on the other side of the book. Bye. Watch them walk down the street as my dad walks down the street with his little hunched over dinosaur walk, which really isn't a dinosaur walk. It's just more if he puts his arms up like this, which we call the dinosaur walk. I love my dad.